Okay, it's Sunday, which means against my better judgment, it's time to go on Reddit and see what questions we can dredge up today. Guide Killing the Enemy. How to be a competent and effective DPS player. Ho ho ho. A lot of DPS players are quite bad, it's true. The most over-blamed role, though, at the same time. Because that's just the default reaction. Well, we aren't winning, which means the enemy team aren't dying, which means it's the DPS's fault. It is quite frequently the tank's fault, and fairly frequently the support's fault. But it's much easier to just blame the DPS. Let's see how to get behind the choke. Oh, it's video, never mind. Competitive hero tier list. Let's have a gander, shall we? Oh, good lord. Tier 1. No tier S, okay. Tier 1. Zenyatta. Mercy. Tier 2. Winston. That's surprising to me. Whatever, who cares? Ah, get out of my face. Whatever, who cares? How to ult effectively as Genji. Wow, you cut the men, basically. So, I know that Genji's ult is definitely one of the best ults in the game. I either overextend, I dash too far past my target, or I'm not able to get that first important kill and I have no dash. Any tips? I mean, that's just like getting used to the distance on the dash, and that sounds like choosing the right moment to attack. If it's somewhat like, if the person has a movement ability, like GA or Fade, usually you want to like dash up to them, then draw the blade, because that resets the cooldown on the dash, and then you can follow them and actually get the kill on them. Otherwise, if it's that's the only thing I can think of offhand. Otherwise, it sounds like choosing a bad time to attack, and that is just getting used to the range on the ability. Songs to listen to when you play: power metal, usually very loud music. XGM Tracer main, struggling to adjust to the new meta. Any tips are appreciated. I have switched to focusing on Zen, and I feel as if I'm contributing to the team, but I just can't seem to get any wins either, let alone maintain a greater than 50% win ratio. I know there is a lot to improve on myself, but I was wondering if you guys have any tips on adjusting to the meta. Get used to playing other heroes. This is the thing when you can only, you play like one hero really well, is if that hero becomes bad or less than, or just like worse, that tends to be an issue for you. So be willing to play more than one hero, because Tracer does get like kinda fucked by the Bridget currently being everywhere, basically, and then like 2 snipers, because the Widow versus Tracer thing is not that bad for the Widowmaker, because she only has to hit the Tracer once, and that's kind of it. Or just get the mine on Tracer. Hanzo is Hanzo, and then there's always the threat of Bridget, so Tracer is not having a great time right now. That much is true. It's the cat. The cat's here now. The cat's going to immediately leave. Okay, I hope everyone enjoyed seeing the cat. That was your interaction today. So, mute versus block. What's the difference? Well, mute is just that you can't see them talking in the game, and then block is that they are unable to, like, attempt to communicate with you. Like, they can't send you a friend request or something like that, I believe. Functionally the same thing. You're able to coach. Is there a way to disable voice lines? I wish. Because when the motherfucker's just spamming a voice line over and over again, I want nothing more than to be able to mute the voice line. But tragically, like, muting the player doesn't work. So you just have to listen to the constant spamming. Diva in the new meta. I'm a high I am a main high gold low plat diva, and since the nerf I now consider her useless and I have a hard time using her in most comps. Is she broken or is there a specific comp that she may work with against? I still find diva to be fine. It's just that it's a lot easier to get punished. I mean, especially since, like, snipers are currently more popular. Like, someone like diva, she's fine. The problem is just that it's a lot easier to get punished because of, like, Bridget and things like that, so there's an adjustment period more than anything else, really. This, like, no hero is, like, presently, like, unplayably bad, with the exception of, like, Torbjorn, you know. It's just that, yeah, and, like, May is more popular now as well. It's just that you have to be, there's an adjustment required for the present meta where you have to be more cognizant of what you're doing and where the enemy are, because it's a lot easier to get punished presently because of, like, double sniper. So if you're out of position, you fucking die. Bridget, if you're out of position, you get stunned and you die. May, if you're out of position, you die. So there's just a lot of very punishing things around right now. So people who only had, like, okay decision-making or positioning are getting punished quite hard right now as a result. There's an adjustment required, I would say, more than anything else. Like, diva, I find diva to still be perfectly fine. It's just easier to get punished. Question on Moira and her healing. Why is she the only healer to have a cap on her healing? Is the resource meter really needed? What if she could heal without any drawbacks, like unlimited? Would she be OP? Yes, because she has a very high, she's a very high output healer. She has the highest potential healing of all three main healers, because of left click being a lot of healing, and then the healing orb also being a lot of healing, and then, like, if you throw the healing orb and then use your ult, that's even more healing. So she does do a lot of healing. Part of the skill of playing Moira is resource management, because also, like, if she didn't have the resource, she'd be such a brain-dead hero to play. Like, there'd be no skill in playing Moira at that point, really. Moira's not terribly hard to play. I would say it's hard to optimize playing Moira, but it's not hard to play Moira. If she didn't have any resource on her healing, like, the amount of healing she does, that wouldn't be okay. Like, she'd have to do less healing for it to be, uncapped. And if Moira didn't do, like, a lot of healing, there would be very little reason to pick her. Because that's, like, the thing she has, really, is, like, that, and the fact Coalescence charges so quickly. Those are, like, the things Moira has, so if it was infinite, it'd have to be less healing, and then Moira becomes a lot less good. Because she would, and then if her healing is less good, she doesn't even charge her ultimate as quickly as Eve, so it has the knock-on effect. So, no, if it was unlimited, this would be really bad for, like, game health overall. It is not an issue that she has resource management, as long as you are managing your resource. She's, you know, you're only positioning badly if you're not positioning well. Am I right? But, like, the fact she has a cap, she has a resource, is not an issue. You just have to actually manage the resource. It's not too terribly difficult, really. The problem that most people have playing Moira is that most Moira players at this point are petrified to do damage because they're afraid that their team is going to jump down their throat. Like, Moira, you're a healer. You have to heal people. Even if you do nothing but hold down left click, that's what they're going to say to you. Like, Moira is meant to be doing damage as actively as possible. If you aren't trying to do damage as actively as possible, you will be constantly low on resource and then be unable to do your healing. So that's, like, the real issue people have with Moira. Is it just me, or is Genji very difficult to play? Yes, he is, but I can't help but notice also this is a console thread. I can never do that good with him. I have my sensitivity set at 100. That sounds insane, but he is on console. She is on console. but anytime I weaken someone and go for the kill, I get rushed. I know he's a flanker and he's supposed to harass the enemy support healers, but I may get one kill before I'm in a 1v3 situation. Because the only character that I have... if you get the kill, though, it shouldn't be an issue, because the idea is that you harass the one person low. You dash in to secure the kill on the person, because the dash is, like, basically guaranteed damage, especially with, like, the right-click melee right in their face and all that. So, the idea is that you poke them low, dash in, get the kill, and then dash back out again. So, it sounds like the issue is probably just overstaying your welcome more than anything else, because the idea is, like, you get the kill, and then you get the fuck out. Unless you got Dragonblade, in which case you get more kills. But, you know, yeah, he's like an opportunistic hero. Like, I don't find Genji hard to play, decision-making wise. It's just that he has a higher mechanical requirement. Like, I can play Genji, because the idea, like, he's so opportunistic. You can just sit back and, like, whittle away at somebody for 1,000 years, and, like, eventually you're going to get the opportunity to dash in and get back out again. It's just deciding when to dash in, really. Like, decision-making wise, Genji's actually very simple. It's just that, people have a tendency to overthink the hero, and then, like, the mechanical requirement is, like, the big thing, but, like, you harass, you dash in, you get the kill, you dash back out again. Or, like, if you're getting rushed, it's like choosing a bad time to go in. Like, if you dash in on the Mercy while she's standing directly adjacent to Bridget, you shouldn't be surprised when you die. You know, like that kind of thing. This is a common recurring thing with Bridget currently being in the game, is like, if you chose to do something directly next to Bridget, you shouldn't be surprised you got stunned. You should have expected that. Tips for solo tanking. I know it's not ideal, but every now and again in solo queue I find myself solo tanking as Ryan. Because it's, sometimes it's because some asshole is hellbent on playing DPS, blah blah blah. I used to be able to do this first, so... Oh god, I'm tired. Any tips? I mean, so, the thing is that... it's not that hard as Ryan, because Ryan has, like, the biggest individual presence of a tank. Especially with his very scary ultimate. So, the thing that you just have to remember is that nobody else is there creating space, right? There's no other tank there. So, you have to be more cautious with how you move, because if you go too far up and there isn't another tank there, it's very easy to rush you and get killed as Reinhardt. So, you just have to, if there's no other tank, you kind of play the same, but you're just more, you have to have more self-restraint than normal, because only having you means that you're more susceptible to being dove on. Whereas if you have a Zarya or a Roadhog or something next to you, then, you know, the Zarya bubbles you, the Zarya is scary, the Roadhog's hooking people, he's zoning people, all that. Like, it makes it harder for you to get rushed. So if you're solo tanking, that's the scary thing, is it's easier to rush the Reinhardt and kill him. So you just have to be more careful with how you extend as the solo tank. You have to be a lot more... You have to just be very understanding that it's easy to kill you if there isn't another tank, so you have to position accordingly, which is basically just be even slower. Push slower than you currently are, probably. Unless you see an opportunity, you know. Problem with micromanaging people. I mean, you know, you just can't... even though I flex, I struggle at Mercy. I wish I could away the hero I normally. Oh my god, I'm so tired. However, when I'm flexing on Mercy, I can still shot call. Well, I can't do anything to directly help the shot call on a single target, so instead I try to micromanage people and their abilities. People will get mad fucking tilted by you doing that. Don't do that. Don't try to micromanage other people unless you know them. Even then, like, probably still don't. But, don't do that with people that you don't know. People in general do not like being micromanaged. They're going to be even less willing to be micromanaged by somebody they don't know. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't recommend doing that. Let's see. Sensitivity. Oh my god. Never get the right sensitivity. Just keep changing your sensitivity until you find the one that you like. Keep playing the season or park it at season high. I mean, it's season's almost over, so season's got like a couple days left in it, so just kind of like you can try and push up further. Like you can park it, I guess. There's lacking in ambition as far as I'm concerned, but it is harder to climb right at the end of the season because people are just fucking around at this point. What, in your opinion, is the best map? The best map is either Kings Row or Hollywood. They are the most well-balanced maps in my opinion. I assume that's what the question is anyway. What everyone's least favorite map was. Least favorite's definitely Horizon, but we'll see. It's probably going to be Junkertown after the changes happen. I'm curious, what are people's favorite maps? It's definitely Kings Row or Hollywood. Both are pretty close. They're just well-balanced maps. Comparatively. You know, they stack up against things like Hanamura and Horizon and Junkertown. So it's not necessarily a high bar of competition, but they are the best balanced maps, in my opinion, which is why I like them. Personally, I enjoy the King of the Hill maps, just in general, because I enjoy the more frenetic pace of those games, but balance-wise, it's like Kings Row or Hollywood. The majority of you need to take Blizzard's advice regarding SR. Don't worry so much and try to have fun. Yeah. No shit. The worst feeling in this game is knowing that you played badly and contributed to the team's loss. I honestly feel like I got boosted to my position through sheer good luck. Everybody feels that way. At some point in time. It's not the end of the world. You're probably fine. Yes, sometimes you're going to contribute to the loss, and that's an inevitability of life. But you are probably fine. You are unlikely to have been, like, boosted through sheer dumb luck. Like, that is unlikely to happen. Unsure what to play now, looking to get to Masters. Climb to Diamond, mainly with Moira and Bridget a bit when needed. I play a group of about 4 on Xbox, and I was at Masters on PC. I do believe I have the skill to get top 500 on Xbox, but I'm stumped as to what to play. The upcoming Moira changes dampen my desire to play her, understandable, and I'm allergic to Mercy. If you're curious, it's the fact that the left click is not going to go through fucking barriers, because apparently that was a bug. Because that's an acceptable fucking bug to release a hero with, isn't it? I cannot think of a more unfun support to play than her. I agree. Moira was so... well, no, Lucio, I hate more. Pretty much leaves Zen and Bridget for supports. I can play Zarya and Ryan, but I am intrigued by the Doomfist buffs and bug fixes. What are you guys easily climbing with, Reinhardt and Bridget? I'm playing a lot of Bridget, but like Reinhardt and Bridget. Also, dumb question, but I'm in low gold PS4 and I'm wondering, is it better to flex fill or instant lock play my mains? Roadhog, Zarya, and a bit of Tracer. It is better to play a hero that you know how to play, as long as you doing that it doesn't result in a ridiculous team composition. Like, if there's no healer, if they've picked 5 DPS, and you better pick a healer, right? Like, you better pick a healer at that point. You are better off picking a hero you know how to play, with the exception of some outlier ridiculous circumstances, like, well, if I don't pick a tank, we have no tank. You should pick the tank at that point. Or the healer, if there's no healer. But generally, it's better to play what you can actually play. Because even if you try and flex and fill, if you don't know how to play the hero that you're flexing to, you won't be able to leverage why they're strong anyway, which is pointless. So if you're going to flex, you know, you need to be good at, like, quite a few heroes, which is difficult to do. You're usually better off picking a hero you know how to play. Because if you don't know how to play the hero you're flexing to, it's pointless that you picked them. So any streamers looking for VoDs to review but don't have enough. This is not an issue I have. I'm also not a streamer. Mid-diamond DPS looking to coach players. Widow HS only will improve you in comps. This is something I asked myself. If I go into rooms of Widow into rooms of Widow headshots only. Will this improve me overall? Unlikely, because it's not always the play to go for the headshot first off, so if you're always, like, fixated on it, then that can end up, hamstringing you in some situations. Because if a body shot is adequate, you should take the body shot, because it's just more likely that you will hit the body shot. So if a body shot is good enough, you should do that. Even if you're pretty confident you can take the headshot, if the body shot is good enough, you are more likely to get the body shot. So it's like, you don't, like, only have to headshot people. So if you're, like, really fixated on it, that might end up hurting you in some situations. And, like, fundamentally, people are going to be acting differently in, like, the thing with, like, a game mode like that is that it's so far removed from how the game actually functions that I find it to be limited in its ability to improve you. It's like the Ana bot headshot only thing to practice aim. Like, the bots don't move like human beings, so it doesn't build the correct type of muscle memory, really, so it's not that effective as an exercise. Like, it can get you warmed up, I guess, but, like, it's not as good as people think it is, because it's not building the correct muscle memory, which only really builds from playing the game, basically. You can try these drills and all that and things like that, but it won't compensate for actual experience and muscle memory that you've built in game, so it's not super helpful to actually do it. How pick rates work and what they really mean. Oh, Jesus Christ. Does anyone have experience with setting their in-game frame rate to be higher than their monitor refresh rate, but the actual FPS fluctuates slightly in between? No, because I just have it capped at 60. Or, 70, actually, I think technically. Whatever. It doesn't fluctuate for me. What are your thoughts on paid coaching? What do you mean? I've been thinking about getting paid coaching sessions. What do you guys think of it? If you think it's going to help you, like, you know, go for it. Yeah, like, as long as the coach knows what he's talking about, it's not going to hurt, right? Like, if you're willing to pay the money for it, go ahead, you know? Kind of like real life, you know, if you want to learn how to play a sport, like, you take lessons, don't you? You know, like, it's how it is. Punishment for leaving a game. Out of 5 games played tonight, a teammate left the game in 5 games. I get people are frustrated if their team is losing, but leaving won't help, but I'm not trying to vent post right here. Does anyone else think the penalty for leaving a competitive match should be steeper? I remember at one point they said it was going to be steeper, but that never actually took off, did it? I understand some people get bad connections and are kicked out. In my opinion, if someone leaves a match early out of frustration, they should be banned from competitive for the rest of the season. I remember them talking about that at one point. It just never actually materialized. I do think that if you have a history of it, you should be punished much more severely. Like, you have to give an amount of leeway to account for people just having bad connections. Because, like, we don't really want to punish people for having bad internet, or for having, I mean, if you have bad internet, you probably shouldn't be playing competitive, but we don't want to punish people for having connection issues. We want to punish people who are being cunts. So you have to give an amount of leeway, but I think if you have a demonstrable history of rage quitting games or leaving games early, you should be banned from the entire season, because clearly you don't take it seriously. If you don't take the mode seriously, you shouldn't be allowed to play the mode. I am of the opinion that the competitive game mode is a privilege, not a right. If you are not prepared to take it seriously, you should not be allowed access to it. Because That's the entire point of it. This is the game mode where everybody is actually trying to win. You know, we're actually going to try and win the video game, which is an unbelievable concept in Overwatch, I know. If you don't care to actually take the mode seriously, you shouldn't be allowed to play it. Just go and play a different mode. There are a great many modes in the game that are more casual. If you do not want to take the competitive game mode seriously, you should not be allowed to play it. So I do think that if like the penalty should be much steeper. Like if you demonstrably are just rage quitting games, you should be banned from the season. That simple. I don't think we shouldn't just let people keep doing it. In general, Overwatch, the punishments are not severe enough, in my opinion, or liberal enough, either way, you know. Like, the Blizzard, they aren't super willing to punish people. And I think they need to be more willing to punish people, in regard to competitive. Anyway, will the new matchmaking be the end of flex playing, like many of us? What new matchmaking? Oh, no, I mean, I guess, yeah, because everybody can just pick what they want to pick, right? It's a good point. Like in League of Legends, there's the role select, but you do have the option of picking Phil, so it just puts you in whatever. So you're allowed to, like, you're meant to pick one primary, one secondary. You can just pick Phil as your primary, or you can pick a role and then Phil as the secondary one. I mean, it's a good point, right? Like, there should probably be an option to, like, Phil in the role select, but much ado about nothing. Like, if everybody can just play what they want to play, it doesn't matter if you flex, really, does it? Because the whole point of flexing is that you're saying, I'm well-rounded enough. This is the important thing to remember if you're a flex player, right? The mindset was never really, I'm going to carry the game. Because if you're flexing, what you're saying is, I'm well-rounded enough that I can play most things well, and I can let everybody else pick a hero or pick a role that they're really good at instead, or try to facilitate that. So it's an inherently, like, I'm going to handicap myself to support other people, essentially. But if everybody can just pick what they want to play, you don't need to do that. Because the need to fill to make sure that people play heroes or roles that they're good at the need to do that is removed by the role select. So the concept of flexing in and of itself in Overwatch is kind of like pointless, really, if role select is there. You'd get like mad fast queues, I guess, but like it seems pointless to me to really have it. Anyway, whatever. Advice for a player new to PC. Is dropping 1,000 SR when switching platforms normal? Yeah, probably, especially if you're going from console to PC. If you're going from PC to console, it's probably not so extreme. But yeah, like console to PC, that's gonna kind of be what happens. Yeah. What is a Bridget at skill ceiling? Being one of my mains, I just wondered exactly, how does a pro Bridget play? What are the trails of a Bridget's player at its skills? I mean, it's probably, like, pretty capped skill ceiling-wise, honestly. Bridget's not, I wouldn't say Bridget has a super high skill ceiling. She's, like, easy to play, so a lot of, Bridget is decision making, really, more than anything else. So like if your hero is based largely just around decision making, like if you don't have a very high mechanical skill ceiling, then your hero will probably have a quite low skill ceiling just in general. You know, look at Lucio, right? Like, easy hero to play. Like, yeah, his skill ceiling, like, it gets up there, but like his skill ceiling is nowhere near as high as someone like Hanzo still. You know, I don't really know where I'm going with that one. The point is, yeah, I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. Don't judge me. Is it bad to play too much in order to practice? No. No, I don't think you can practice too much. Like, you might get burned out, but no, I don't think you can play too much. On control maps, if your team has the point, is it better to stall or regroup? If you still have some percentage to build, it can be worth it to stall out. But you have to weigh that against actually regrouping. Because if you're gonna stall it out just to get an extra like 5%, that's not really worth it. You might as well just regroup and get working on an actual team fight you can win faster than that. But if you think you can stall it out for like a really long period of time, like there aren't that many people on the objective right now, enemy team-wise, and you're playing someone hard to kill, like Lucio or Mei, then it can be worth stalling it out because you can feasibly get like 20% or something like that, you know. If you can get a reasonable amount of percentage off of it, it is worth it to stall it out. But if you aren't going to get like a hefty amount of percentage, it's usually going to be better to just regroup than anything else, so that you can actually like take the objective instead. Tips and tricks for hit scan, aim reliant heroes, and how to improve with aim. Play a lot of the video game. Play a lot of the video game. How to stop being toxic to teammates? Serious question. I have obviously searched this on Google and other sites, but it's really not useful with some recommendations like leave the chat channel. But it would not be useless since I am there to communicate and not flame teammates. However, I communicate. Look, I'm an asshole, so I don't join team chat. And it's that simple. Because I know what'll happen. An argument will start. That's just how it is. So it's not worth me joining the team chat. Because I know that it's going to probably end up being detrimental rather than positive. And the team chat isn't that important either. It's overvalued by the community. If you're an asshole, you have to either work really hard at not being an asshole, which just means being really cognizant of what you're doing, and chastising yourself for being an asshole until our stupid monkey brain registers that we should stop doing that. So you can do that, which is like really hard, right? Like fundamentally what you're saying is, how do I change a core aspect of who I am as a person? That's hard. That takes a lot of effort, and it just means being really, really aware of yourself. The alternative is just don't join the chat, which I fully advocate for. It's not really worth it anyway. My idea to deal with leavers in Overwatch, we could just ban competitive. I'm seriously stumped. Need any help I can get. Oh god, Jesus Christ. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to fucking sleep after this. I've been playing since Season 6, and I've been on the grind every season, but it hasn't helped at all. I've read every game I can try and shoot both basketballs into the hoop, but I always miss. Relatable story. Is there a technique, or are there too many random variables? There's definitely a technique, but it eludes me. I've played since Season 1, I still cannot score a basket on any hoops. I've accidentally gone into the fucking... Understand, I relate to your issue, my friend. I do not know what to tell you. The mysteries of the dunk elude me as well to this very day, 2 years later. A few tips for the lower ranks. Focus healers. Play main tank. Do not do that. Do not do that. Switch. Do not do that. If you are in a very low SR, these things will not really help you. Don't say to teammates they are bad. This is blanketly good advice. This is bad advice, especially in low SR. Look, here's the abridged version. If you're using voice chat, everybody has to not be toxic, because if there's one toxic person, that dominates the chat. So there has to be no toxic people in there. Very hard in Overwatch blanketly, particularly in lower SRs. Secondarily, communication is a skill in this video game that most people in the higher SRs don't know. All they know is join voice chat. If you don't join voice chat, you're throwing. That's all they know. They don't actually know how to communicate. So in very low SR, guess what? They are very unlikely to know how to communicate. And you need several people to know how to communicate effectively. One person that knows how to communicate is not really helpful. Several people need to be decent at communication for it to be worth it. So low SR, we need no toxic people and several people who are good at communication. Extremely unlikely to happen. So voice chat, pointless. Don't worry about it that much. Relax and enjoy the game. Good advice. Yes, sure. Easier said than done, though, isn't it? At the same time. After 10 seasons, I finally reached gold. Good job. Why McCree's combat role is one of the worst feeling hero abilities in the game. Centric value is that it revolves peak, but it's an ability that at best half serves any of its other functions. It's really lame ability. It's true. I don't really need to read that super in depth. It's pretty lame. I need help. I've been dropping at an insane rate. As it currently stands, I've been dropping since my career high. I've been GM since Season 5. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's slumps, not slums. You just gotta keep at it, my dude. But oh no, I fell from 4,300 to a mere 3,600 and nearly 3,700. Oh no, you poor child. I don't know how you're gonna cope with that one. Oh no, how terrible. Alright, so that's 2 pages. That's almost a 40-minute video, and I'm fucking tired. So we're gonna call it good. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them. Or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful. I'm gonna go to bed now.